Yeah, he said if Uncle Eugene don't break it,
It ain't gonna break.
It ain't
Nothing's gonna break it.
Okay, I got you recording here, so say hello.
Hello. How's everybody?
You look like you're doing good, Gene.
Yeah, I'm doing real good. I should be at home washing dishes or something. Oh, that's a spill.
Yeah, this beats washing dishes, but not by much, probably, right?
Not much at all.
They treating you good in here?
Yeah, they treat me real good. You guys have a good trip out here, I hope.
We did. We came out, and Jason's. I was listening to the news, and he said, "What do you want to listen to that for? When there's all that rock and roll up there on the air, all we have to do is get it in the air and get it on the radio." So we never did hear that news report, did we, Jay? Yeah. He pretended like he was interested in the news.
Oh, the news?
Uh-huh.
Oh, it was interesting.
He was real interested, and he said, maybe we'll just listen to rock and roll for just a minute.
Just a minute to see how it's sounding. We got so mad the other night, we went out to eat. We had to go out. David got a job way out, and we had to go pick him up.
Oh, he's working again?
Just for 2 days, a weekend.
Well, that's good for him.
And so we went out there, and we eat on our way. We couldn't find the Bulls game out there.
Oh, they don't broadcast it out there.
It was out there, but it was on a different channel.
Huh.
And we finally found out who won, but...
They've been winning pretty good lately.
Yeah.
Tony's been playing good?
Tony's looking great. I know I didn't even watch it on TV last night. Well, I'm sure it was on TV, but I didn't even watch it.
I don't watch him.
They was working on that guy, so...
Sue-Ann was, she had tons of things to do. And she said, I got to get this stuff done. I'm not going to bed until I get all this packed for Hawaii and everything. That Bulls game came on. That was it. Everything can wait.
Everything can wait.
So she told me today, she said, I'm not going to bed until I get that packed.
Tonight it's going to be packed.
Yeah. I said, well, that's what you said last night. And she said,
Bulls don't play tonight, do they?
if the Bulls play tonight, I don't think we're going to see our bags when we get to Hawaii.
You might have somebody send them to you.
It's a funny thing because she wasn't that interested. Barry and I used to go to the games. I used to get tickets all the time. And I'd say, you want to go? No, I'm not interested in that basketball. I don't know what happened. She became a big fan. Didn't happen.
So you seen Barry this week?
I did. He was going to come out here. But he had a last-minute trip. He had to go to Connecticut.
Uh-oh.
So he's on his way.
What kind of weather's down to that out there? It's a little cold.
You know, what they have out there, it's hilly, real pretty, not cold like here. It's close to the ocean, so the ocean keeps it a lot warmer.
Just like down south, it used to get 32 degrees, and that was cold, man.
Yeah.
Years when we lived down there, 32 degrees, well, you know, that was their winter.
That's right.
Now it gets a little colder than that now, I think.
Barry and I were talking the other night on the way home about you coming up here. How old were you when you came to Chicago?
19. 19,
and you're a farm boy. I never heard you say, like a lot of people say, well, I wish I could get back to the farm.
Never did.
Saying, I just don't know. It just seemed Eugene just really, he adjusted to the city life. And
first of all, we could see the light. The little farms was going out. Well, that's why your dad and all been left out too, because everybody's seen the little farms are going out. Well, you know, we had 2 families, and he worked 4 families on 1,000 acres of land. That wasn't aimed to do it.
So you had 4 guys, what, 250 acres each?
And that wasn't aimed to do it. You wasn't aimed to make a living. Well, you could make a living back then.
Yeah.
The living we had then, but you was paying $4 an hour for 10 hours of work too, you know. And when I got here, first job I got was George R. Lux, that roofing construction.
Yeah.
I says, well, you know, I haven't got my birth certificate. He said, I don't care. You're not going upstairs anyway.
Not going on the roof?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was 19, and he paid me $2.37 an hour.
That wasn't very much money.
Well, it was more than $4 for 10 hours.
Is that what they paid you on the farm?
$4 a day for 10 hours. And I says,
you thought you were in heaven.
When I get 40 hours.
That was nice. I brought you some cookies. We'll take care of those cookies for you, Gene.
Okay.
So he was paying you $2.37 an hour.
4 hours I was making 1 hour. 2 hours I was making $4.70 an hour, you know.
So
that's for 2 hours.
Well, was the work as hard as the farm work?
You'd work real hard and nothing. Because you had to hook that, you remember that old black tire paper that you put on flat top houses? You used to take that and you used to have to pull them up with a rope. And put them up on, and some of them was 2 or 3 stories wasn't bad, but you get 5 or 6 stories, man, you needed them arms to pull them on up.
Did he finally put you on the roof?
Oh yeah, about a week.
He didn't care about you had a week's training and that was it.
That's enough. And they would take a helicopter, they'd set the big oven, if they melt that tire up on the roof. Then they would melt it, you know, and everything, and then you mop it all over this black tire paper, and sprinkle gravel, you know, that little pea gravel all over it. That was what you did.
Now, where'd you meet Helen? Did you meet her up here when you came up here? Or
you know, I knew your family before I came.
That's right.
Here.
You knew.
I worked for your dad before he came up here, cause nobody else would give me a job. Cause see, I had 2 brothers older.
So they were always.
And they was always doing the tractors and all that. So I was out there and I seen this. I knew him, you know, as Mr. Watkins. And I seen him out there, and I was watching him going up and down the river, and he's up down the river, up and down the roads. He was about halfway between where we lived and where what was that guy that got his house burned? Rackley.
Rackley, yeah.
He was about halfway.
Doyle Rackley.
There. And he got out and he says, "Can you drive a tractor?" I said, well, I can drive a tractor to the field and everything.
How old were you?
12, 13. So he said, well, get on the tractor with me. He had that one of them big G's.
Yeah.
That was the big powerhouse back then, because we had all A's.
Oh, I see.
And he said, okay. I drive it in this gear here. If you want it a little slower until you get used to it, okay. If you don't, okay. I took off. He rode with me 2 rounds and he says, stop down here. He says, it's all yours, take off.
That was it. You were doing the plowing.
I was his plow boy.
Huh?
Then we moved down there at 913 Belleville.
Yeah.
You remember when we lived down there?
Sure.
And Helen and I don't know how she was up here, but she was up here. Wilder's girl. What was her name? The older one?
Oh, Linda? No, not Linda. I can see her face.
But I can't think of her name.
No. Hell no.
But I just. We were sitting.
I remember when she was there. Yeah.
No. And yeah, Wanda was there too.
No, but is that not who you were thinking of?
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about.
Yeah. She was a Rackley, wasn't she?
Wanda was, yeah. But this other was, you know, they lived right up the street from you, and right down the street from us on the other side of the place. They had a farm on that side of Gilchrist.
Oh yeah.
And so they came by and we went to talking, and well, I knew Wanda better than I did Helen, but you know, she was around all the time. We used to go swimming and all that stuff down to that
the double bridges.
Double bridges and all that. And I took Wanda out, and this red-headed guy took Helen out.
Yeah.
And then I think it was a few nights later, me and Helen, we went out. We walked to the lake.
Oh.
That was a lot of going out then. You'd walk down the lake.
That was a big date, yeah. Now it's a one-way walk sometimes.
Yeah. You'd be very careful if you walk to the lake now, unless you got 30 people with you.
Yeah, that's right.
We talk about Chicago.
Oh, yeah?
And we hit it off. Pearl didn't like me right at first, because she had Helen sitting on marrying that
That Norman boy.
Norman boy.
She wanted that. She loved that uniform.
Yes, he was in a uniform, and she figured that they would take off to the Navy somewhere, and
Yep.
they lived happy ever after. But I don't know. We just Mr. Watkins always liked me. Burl did.
She came around
Yeah.
after that.
And
I just remember all of a sudden it was like Christmas and Helen was gone.
yeah, I figured, I was going over every night.
I remember when
Or you guys were coming over to the house every night.
Yeah, I remember when you came over and you used to give us money to go and buy Pepsis. Remember that? You'd give us money for Pepsis and a treat.
And I said, man, this is, it'd be cheaper if we just got married. We wouldn't have to stay up so late.
That's right.
So we made this deal. We're going to Mississippi to get married. Got everything set up. And we went down there, and this guy was drunk. Most of the time, yeah. Yeah. I don't even know. Do they make a Jeep without a four-wheel drive car?
You do?
Do they?
Yep. I do. Somebody just told me they
Oh,
bought
he
one.
said somebody just told him they still make one with just two-wheel drive. Paul and his son came out to visit me a little bit.
No, it's not like how please. Thank you. Skip.
You. Oh, you won't have to order then? Oh, okay then. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay. I hope I get out right away, Yeah. And sneak back in. Okay, then that's what I wanted, Bud. Thanks.
Christmas dinner?
Uh-huh.
Is that what you guys do sometimes? You go over there?
No, we eat out at Fisherman's Inn.
Oh, I see.
But he hadn't missed a year.
So we invited you again.
That's okay. I'm gonna
That's
go
nice.
get it. Stay right here. Hold on.
That's nice. What was it? You went down to Mississippi and you...
And he was drinking.
This the guy who was driving?
Yeah. He had, I don't know where you remember or not, he had that 56
Who was this?
J.S. Warrington.
Uh-huh.
He lived down there.
That's good.
You go up to Gilchrist to the dead end, you go this way, and he lived at the next bridge up there on the
I
left.
saved your lunch for you.
And I ain't gonna drive no more. I was thinking,
Okay.
oh man, what you gonna kill my butt if I don't get Helen down there and get her married? So we stayed in Springfield. So he took us, time we got to Blywell, he was drunker than a skunk again. So I said, forget it. So I went up to Blywell and we caught a bus to Memphis. And then we had to wait 5 hours the next morning for a bus to go on out there.
Was that on Christmas Day?
Christmas Day. Try to get married, not Christmas Day, Christmas Eve.
Oh, yeah.
Try to get married on Christmas Eve sometimes you ain't got it all planned.
Because people had other things.
The places are closed, and we went to the supervisor, and he married us. You know, he's
Justice of the
he's the
peace?
justice of the peace of this whole county. I think it's Benton County where we was at. Well, Taz knew Arnold's stepfather. He knew this guy, and he went to his house, and just happened he took the license to his house with him, thinking it might be a crazy person come down and want license, you know.
Isn't that something?
And he fixed up our license.
And those two crazy people showed up.
Yeah,
Well, it turned out to be pretty good for you.
it was. And I was being a real nice guy about it. I still held him to bed first. You know, they have a heat in one room down there. And that's the living room.
Always says cold.
And I waited about 10 minutes, went in there, and she's sitting right up in the middle of the bed.
She's freezing.
She ain't laying down. She said it felt like that bed was so cold it was wet. She said it felt like it. You know, a sheet. They didn't have blankets, they had sheets. And you know a sheet can be awful cold.
Oh, boy.
Somebody did it and nobody else
I'm just
couldn't do
gonna check
it.
your IV side here. And see.
Took her to get it last night again. 2 girls tried it.
To change a
Oh,
piece of
getting that in
equipment.
there.
I'm gonna have to go
Okay.
get some equipment for that, okay? Not a new needle or anything, just another piece on the tubing.
Okay.
Do stuff like that.
Yeah.
If anybody has trouble, she goes,
Oh, she just comes in and checks that. That's her job.
no, she puts it in too.
Oh, I see.
Because she was the one who put it in though. And she's the one who put this on the first time I've ever seen one of them.
I never seen one.
But she said it holds everything tight.
Yeah, I got a picture of that.
But we had a good trip coming back home then.
Take a bus back?
Yeah.
Now, you came back, and then how long before Kathy was born? You were married for how long? I mean, I remember Kathy as a baby.
Over a year.
A year.
It wasn't. Everybody says, you know how everybody
Yeah.
is. You automatically have to get married. I don't know what the deal is, but
Yeah.
you automatically have to.
I knew it was at least a year. I've seen it was 2 years before you.
It was close to 2 years.
Yeah, close to 2 years.
Yeah.
You live in that little apartment over there in Belden still.
Because it was quite a while. Because Helen didn't want no kids right away because we'd get off work and we'd go out and eat something, you know.
Yeah. A little time together to get to know each other better.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then she got pregnant and she cried. And it was all over with. She wanted 1 and I wanted 4.
So who won, huh?
Who won? One was pretty hard to get, but the others come pretty easy.
Yeah. Actually, I found it easier to take care of 2 than it was 1 in some ways because they kind of entertain each other.
And another thing, if you get 1, sometimes they can be really bullheaded, man.
Yeah.
I know my sister's got 1 girl, and she was the arrogant girl that I ever seen in my life, and we was all about the same age.
That's
She thought everything belonged to her. She thought she was better than everybody else.
I can't imagine Kathy being like that anyway.
No,
She's such
I
a sweetheart.
can't really. But it's possible if just 1.
Yeah, they have an impact on the way they're raised.
I wouldn't. I don't think so, but
No, I don't think so.
but that's how everything started.
And you lived down in Mississippi for a while?
Yeah, we went down there and stayed nearly a year one time
Uh-huh.
because wrecked my car
How are you doing?
going to work.
That
And
56 Mercury?
no, I had a 52 Chevy. And this guy, I stopped behind a wreck, This guy from the city came on about 50 miles an hour and pushed my trunk all the way up the back seat, man.
Told it.
Totaled it out for the city.
That was it. You're lucky you got a nickel.
Lucky that I got a dime out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, I got $100 out of it. And that was about 2 years. But we went down there and we lived on a little farm. And we'd borrow a pair of mules from Taz, and I had me a...
So you were trying to farm?
No, just a truck patch. Beans,
so you were
potatoes,
working, you had a job too? And
yeah. And I worked at Southern Boiler and Tank in Memphis, where they make those hydrogen tanks.
Yeah, sure.
And then we decided the farm...
Poke my head.
A honeymoon. Ain't too many people has a honeymoon like that.
Nope. So she didn't like those snakes?
She didn't love those snakes at all, man. So we moved to Memphis and we stayed about 3 more months, and I said, this is nonsense.
Now, was Kathy a baby down there?
Uh-huh. Matter of fact...
You had David?
David was baby, and I think Mike was born there. No.
Maybe not.
I think Dee was born there. I think we had her last kid there at Memphis.
Oh, boy.
Because she came to her Aunt Green's up in Missouri, and they live real close to a clinic.
Yeah.
And she went to that clinic because your insurance paid about $20 a week on a hospital bill or something like that. Didn't pay much.
So Dee was born at home or at the...
At the clinic.
At the clinic.
Uh-huh. I think that was the way it was.
Yeah.
And
so you had all the kids and then you came back here?
Yeah.
You didn't move back to the city when you came back here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Bit.
On Wolfram. You lived in Wolfram.
Uh-huh. For a little while we moved back. And when Kathy started school, Helen just run me nuts. And afraid she was going to get kidnapped and run over and everything because it was a few blocks to school. So I said, we'll go out west. We drove out there and stopped at the station there.
Mm-hmm.
And not even think about it. I never worked at a station. But just asked him, need any help? Yep. But he said, I'll tell you, I'm a grouchy old fool. I holler about everything, but he said my holler's worse than my bite. So I always took him at it. He was. He'd holler at you and holler at you.
And he didn't mean anything.
5 minutes later, we was laughing and talking. Well, you can't get mad at somebody like that.
Some people get mad and quit when...
Yeah. Arnold would. He quit about 4 or 5 times.
Now, Arnold was... You guys are like brothers, weren't you?
Yeah, well, he is my sister's boy.
Uh-huh.
And I like a month to be... He's born the 30th of April, and I was born the 30th of May.
So you're like twins.
Like a month of being a year older than him.
And then you were raised together out there?
Because his mother, they split up, him and his dad, because...
Oh, he stayed with you?
And he stayed with us for 6, 7 years, lived with us, you know.
So he was just like a brother.
Uh-huh.
Now, when you were home little, were most of your brothers still at home, or?
All of them were.
Everybody was home.
Uh-huh. Matter of fact, Edmund Earl, my middle brother, he left just a little bit before I did. He went back to Mississippi.
Yeah.
Then we figured out my dad don't want to farm no more. So
he was just tired of it.
Yeah, we went down to Mississippi and we bought him a farm.
Oh,
A
really?
35-acre farm, a barn, and the 35 acres was all fenced in. And it was 2 acres over here, real flat land. It was fenced in, and that's where he had his gardens and all that.
So he retired.
He retired.
You guys bought him a retirement.
We bought him a house and a little For the whole thing, we gave $850 for it.
Man, $850 is probably
35?
hard to get in those days.
Oh boy. And
I bet you felt
lived
good
there.
about that.
Oh yeah, he
How long did he stay on that farm?
10, 12 years.
That's
Then he was getting older, so he bought a place over by his brother, and he built a house over there where he'd be close to his brother, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just need to.
Uh-huh. They sure check on you here.
They're really good here.
They take. I mean, we've
I've
been here
never-
half an hour, and that's about the 8th person who's come in here.
I've never had no complaints from this place. Now I've been in this room twice.
Yeah, it looked
The
familiar.
last time I was here.
Now you were on the 3rd floor one time too.
Yeah, I
weren't
was up there a couple of times, but they changed lots of them from the 3rd floor down here,
you? Uh-huh.
and they put all the stuff at the back of this one. And overnight, they call it overnight operations. They put you in this afternoon. They operate on you.
Yep.
And I guess all the real sicker people's upstairs, or whatever.
So you worked at the station how long then?
About 6 or 7 years.
Huh.
I really enjoyed it. Wanted a motorcycle. I never will. That Suzuki I bought, that
Yeah.
T10,
Uh-huh.
told Holly, instead of buying a car, let's buy a motorcycle. And I'll ride it the whole year, back and forth to work. Well, I did, one whole year.
In the winter too?
In the wintertime, I left the house, it's snowing so hard you can't see, raining. But after that, I found out a way to get another car.
You got the motorcycle bug out of your system.
Yeah, well, I kept the motorcycle,
Oh, yeah.
but I
In
found
the winter you just couldn't ride it, yeah.
we used to go in and pull these cars in.
Uh-huh.
Be a water pump out on it. They were not new cars, older cars,
Yeah, sure.
Good running cars. They'd give them to you, just tow them in.
They just wanted them out of their property.
They just wanted them. So we'd take them in if we needed a car. We'd pay John for the towing.
Ah,
And we'd put a water pump on it, or a timing chain, or
whatever it was.
or battery, or starter. It's been lots of things, Then we'd have a car. All you have to do is just put liability on it and buy your license plate and go.
So people were paying thousands of dollars for transportation, and you're getting it for the price of a tow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I bought a 57 Plymouth push button. I was offered $500 for it.
I remember that car.
And
That was
I
a
had,
good
it was a pink and white, remember?
car. Uh-huh.
And I had $37 in it. Taz, I went down to Mississippi, and Taz told me, he says, he'd give me $400 and he'd take us home.
Did you sell it to him?
I didn't have nothing else to drive then. And we came up here, and I went down to the garage, where I worked at the service station,
Uh-huh.
and found this 53 Chevy. Looked sharp, but the seats got wet, and they were sort of rough. And I bought it. It needed a timing chain. And I bought it, and me and Arnold and Jimmy got out there. In about an hour and a half, we had a timing chain in that car. And we went to the junkyard and bought front seats and back seats for it. It was a four-door, 53 Chevy, I'm pretty sure. Put those seats in there and sent him back home.
And it was fine.
Yep. Them big ones.
No,
They are just too heavy.
they're too heavy. You get tired of carrying them around.
One thing about it, you need to put them on a stand, set them up, and that's where you should use one of them big ones. guess if you want to pull yourself up, you just reach up and get it and pull yourself up.
Yeah, they had one of those contraptions on that bed that we brought out there, and the guy said, "You want that?" Nah, you don't need that.
Put these things together with a hot glove.
Oh, you put them together where you were?
They're easy.
They're pretty easy to put together, aren't
Yeah,
they?
you just put these here on that side and that on that side, and you slip the pole there, slip the pole on that side, and
Tighten
put
them
that-
down about it
put that there. and
halfway in.
You're done. Well, you,
I think most of your beds have got these in the house.